Hi, I'm WYATT Sharp in Ottawa today with Civics Canada as part of their 2023 Student Budget Consultation. Over the course of today, we've been meeting with various members of Parliament from various political parties to discuss and share with them the results of the 2023 Student Budget Consultations as a way to hopefully not only have their insight and input, but also to have the voices of students and the results of this survey shared with them to hopefully implement some of them into the upcoming federal budget. Let's start out with housing affordability, something that came up quite a bit as students were filling out the online survey, talking about how the majority of respondents believe that, making housing more affordable is something that the government should obviously be doing. When you think about your role as an MP, the government's role, the Prime Minister's role, the Finance Minister's role, what can you as a government do to reduce the cost of housing, something that's obviously on the minds of lots of Canadians?
I think it requires a solution from all levels of government, and we have had an affordable housing fund since 2016, a $40 billion fund. But as we can see, that's not enough. More needs to be done, and I'm certainly at the table to help. And I look at what's happening back home too, and I sincerely think it's the way we build homes needs to change because there's not enough labor.
We need to be doing far more to invest in deeply affordable housing. And one example of that is the federal government stepping up to both provide deeper investments through renewing the Rapid Housing Initiative, making that a permanent fund, and adjusting the rules to make sure that homes should be places for people to live and not commodities for corporate investors to trade.
As far as the housing part of it, again, that is the interest rates that are going on right now. The inflation in general is really robbing the people, especially in lower incomes or people that are just starting out.
The federal government has been doing a number of things more recently. The last announcement that our Prime Minister made was the Housing Accelerator Fund, which is really aimed at helping municipalities expedite the process to build housing. There's a lot of land, there's a lot of area we can build on, and that is what we should be using. We should be building near public transit lines so that new highways aren't required. And we should be making sure that we're also at the same time balancing the need for housing and affordable housing with protecting our environment and preserving green space.
What can the government do to, make things more affordable for Canadians, which will ultimately help make youth have access to what they need?
Of course, and when we talk about affordability, it's very broad, but it comes down to Canadians being able to have the everyday necessities for them, to purchase the everyday necessities for them and their families, including for their children, whether they're 8 years old or they're 17 years old. Obviously, the Canada Child Benefit, which we brought in, this is a $26 billion program. 9 out of 10 families are better off under this program than the prior one. Now the National Early Learning and Childcare Program, where we've seen fees reduced by thousands of dollars, literally by thousands of dollars, real before tax money, which is quite significant for families across the country.
We have to get the cost of energy down, and we have to get the taxation down on individuals as well, especially the people that are on fixed incomes. People right now are getting taxed very high through the carbon tax to heat their homes, to drive their vehicles to work. It's going to be 14 cents a liter, the carbon tax coming up here. That's just simply, that's driving the cost up of everything. And it's driving the cost up not only on the energy you're burning to heat your home and to drive to work, but also for the food, for the groceries.
The affordability challenge is real. The government is trying to deal with that. Inflation, there's no one silver bullet to tackle that. And as challenging it is in Canada, sometimes this might be cold comfort, frankly, to Canadians, but when we look at the situation elsewhere in other similar countries, we're actually doing pretty well. So I think it's talking about that, the fact that we are in a good place, but being empathetic to some of the challenges that do exist around housing, around the affordability question that you're talking about, which there's no immediate answers, but we're trying to be focused.